What happens when you ignore breadcrumbs, or as I call them, insignificant messages from your ex? A lot of people who are in no contact have a problem not responding when their ex reaches out, no matter what the ex says. And in fact, there was a comment recently, and he had been responding to his ex for 9 months. And I said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. I mean, she's still not back." And he said, "Well, I don't like ignoring people completely. Nobody likes that." Hello, that's the idea. Of course, nobody likes to be ignored. That's why we're ignoring them. Obviously, some of you have never left someone on red. You've never ignored someone. You might want to try it sometime. It's really not as bad as you think. You might be surprised at the results. Your ex will definitely not be expecting you to ignore their reach out, no matter how low effort their text is. They could have bet their life on it that you would definitely respond, and be more than happy to text back or to call back as soon as possible. Your ex thought they had all the power. They thought you'd be predictable like most exes. They didn't know you joined the no contact army. And hell no, we're not doing that. So, what happens when you ignore breadcrumbs? A lot. Stay tuned and you'll find out. Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I am a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And welcome back, my beautiful no contact army. Have you been a good little soldier? Well, if you have, then you've downloaded my app Silencio to help you stay in no contact. And the link to that is underneath every single video and podcast. And if you too would like to join our no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. So let's define breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is the art of leading someone on and giving false hope that you're interested in a relationship or that you're interested in getting back together. And a breadcrumb is not determined by the length of the text. Just because your ex sends you a long text, it doesn't mean it's significant. It could just be a bunch of superficial stuff that doesn't need a response. One of my clients got a very long email, but it was all insignificant, just giving him information on, oh, well, I've been doing this and my son did this and that, and nothing that needed him to respond. And so I told him, don't respond. And what do you know? Within a week, she reached out again and said something significant. Ignoring breadcrumbs strikes again. And I've done a video on which specific texts from your ex to ignore, because exes are, if nothing else, predictable. They pretty much all say the same things. So I'll put the link to that in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube. So we only respond to significant texts, meaning that they are expressing regret, apologizing, and or saying they made a mistake and they want to talk. The tone needs to be humble and vulnerable. So what happens when you ignore breadcrumbs from your ex? Many interesting things happen. First of all, as I said, they thought that you would be responding right away. Now they see you're not responding, and they thought they would have access to you at any time. So now they want their access back. Access denied. You're not going to respond to just any little message that they send. Next, they might think you're angry, but guess what? They don't know for sure. Maybe you are, or maybe you're indifferent. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you've moved on. Who knows? They'll think that you've moved on, actually. And even though they may not want you, they don't necessarily want someone else to have you, at least not right now. So they'll get competitive if they think that there's someone else. But it's too early to pull the jealousy card until at least 30 days have gone by, depending on how long you guys dated, preferably 60 days, because otherwise they'll think you're doing it on purpose to make them jealous, so it'll backfire, or they'll think that you were cheating in the relationship and that there was someone else all along. And I've made a video on what happens if they think that you've moved on, because I know a lot of you are afraid that, oh no, they won't text me again, they won't reach out again if they think I've moved on. As usual, with dating and getting next back, it's the total opposite. So I'll post the link to that in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube. They may think that you're playing games, but hey, they can think that all they want. They don't know for sure unless you tell them, which I don't know why you would. They won't know what to think, especially if you had never ignored a message from them in your life. They may even think something happened to you. It's like, oh my God, I thought for sure they'd respond. I hope they're okay. They may call you from a different number or text you from a different number if they figure out that you are ignoring them on purpose. If they weren't already, they'll start stalking your socials. They want to see what the heck you're up to, that you're suddenly able to ignore them, even though they dumped you and you didn't want them to. Now, obviously, their ego will be hurt. Good. And I've done a video on that topic about the fact that you have to hurt your ex in order to get them back. So I will put the link to that in the upper right-hand corner. They may show up at your door. It's happened. I've heard of several people who had exes show up at the door when they weren't responding. They may show up at your work if for some reason they can't show up at your door at home. They may contact your family to find out what's going on. They may contact your friends. See, you thought that nothing was going to happen if you didn't respond to Breadcrumbs. As you can see, a lot is going on, and there's more. But first, before I continue, I wanted to mention that 65% of people who listen to me are not subscribed. So I want to ask you a favor, and that is, if my videos have ever helped you in any way and you want to give something back, then just hit the subscribe button and I will continue to make videos that will be helpful, hopefully, and interesting in order to help you get your ex back. Thank you. They will be incredulous, meaning they won't believe it. They'll wonder if they texted the wrong number or called the wrong number. It's like, what do you mean they're not responding? What the heck is going on? They will start to get anxious if they have an anxious or an anxious avoidant attachment style. So this is how you can use their attachment style against them, by getting them anxious, because people act out of character when they're anxious, as you well know if you're anxious. They will double, triple, and quadruple text you, but it doesn't matter. Do not respond if it's not significant. They'll call you 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row. And that's usually when people break. They're like, well, I had to respond. They called me a bunch of times. So I don't care. They need to leave a message. And yeah, it needs to be significant. I don't care if they call 100 times in a row. They're trying to bully you into responding. Turn off the ringer. Temporarily block them. But don't think, oh, I got to respond. Maybe something happened. No. I can guarantee you 99.99999% of the time, nothing happened except they're getting anxious that you didn't respond. Okay? However, none of these things can happen if you respond to Breadcrumbs. You will lose the power of ignoring insignificant messages if you respond. All you're doing is letting them know you're still there for them and they have nothing to worry about. You've taken away mystery, doubt, and any anxiety they were feeling. It's like, yep, she's still there. He's still there. Nothing to worry about. Let me see what else is out here. And by the way, do not call them out on the Breadcrumbs and say, well, if you're not going to say anything significant, or if you're going to breadcrumb me, then don't contact me. Shut up. you will have broken no contact for no good reason. And you will have just shown them that you're still very interested and waiting for them to show more interest. Trust me, if they're truly interested and you don't respond to their breadcrumbs, they will put in the effort and escalate and say something more significant. Now, I know there's going to be some people who are going to say, well, I never heard from my ex after the breakup. I wish I'd gotten a breadcrumb, but I got nothing. So to that, I would say, well, you never know. They may still pop up. However, if they don't, then just know that they were done for whatever reason. Maybe they found someone else. Maybe they weren't that interested to begin with. Maybe there have been other breakups between the two of you, and this was the last straw. But as I've said before, 90% of people will at least hear from their ex, even if it's just a breadcrumb. So if you don't hear from them, understand that if there is someone out there who's better for them than you, that means there's someone out there who is better for you than them. And I know that may be hard to accept right now, but as time goes on, you'll eventually see that things did work out for the best. So now I want to hear from you. What type of breadcrumbs has your ex sent you? And what did they say? I guess that's the same question. What did they say in the breadcrumb? Okay. And if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net/coaching, and we will send you the rates. They are not on the website. And the direct link to that is underneath every single video and podcast. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast and want to help the show, then please download this episode. And remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.